What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Above Par Golf Show. Today's guest is Wendy Powick, golfashionista and amateur golfer. Wendy, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me today, Alex.
Thank you very much for joining us. So I just wanted to, as I said before, kind of get to know you a little bit and get to know your life and background in golf. So you started playing in 2020, is that correct?
That's right. Like pretty much a lot of people got started during lockdown or during, the COVID lockdown. But, being here in Australia, we were pretty lucky actually with lockdown, and we had the lockdown initially. I think it was from like March, only about 6 weeks, I think. And then in Queensland, where I live, we really haven't been affected much with COVID after that. So, so I got started like a lot of other people with not much else to do and play golf. Yeah.
So have you always kind of had a bit of a passion for golf before starting to play them? Or was this kind of when you just first got into it?
Actually, not really. Growing up, I was very sporty. I played pretty much every other sport except golf. I grew up playing tennis, so I was a very good, in my own head, I was quite a good tennis player. But, I played lots of other sports, and never really got into golf at all because I just didn't have really anyone around me that played. Until I met my husband, my now husband, and and it was always just him going off and playing golf with the boys, and I never really thought that it was for me. I thought, oh, that's their thing, they go off and do that. Was never really, a woman's place to go into a man's world of golf. So, that's what I thought it was anyway, this mysterious game that they play. One day he just said, why don't you come along and have a hit? And I went, oh, yeah, okay. You actually want me to come along? My husband actually likes to spend time with me, which is great. And ever since then, I've kind of been hooked. And he said to me, it was around my birthday this time last year, and he said, look, if you really want to take it seriously, then we should get you set up properly. And so that's what we did. We went and got fitted properly. And he said, if you just get secondhand things that might not suit you, might be too big or just not the right shaft or whatever, you won't enjoy it, and you'll give it up and you'll hate it.
Sure.
So that's what we did.
Yeah, it's quite a good point, because I think a lot of people starting, sometimes they kind of edge their way into it, and they'll maybe just buy one or two clubs, and as you said there, you might end up with a club that's completely the wrong size for you. And funny enough, I was actually having a conversation about this yesterday, and a PGA golf coach that I was talking to, he basically said anybody that's starting, no matter how good or how bad, should always immediately get fitted for a set of golf clubs or some clubs. Because you could start off on the wrong foot, and maybe you learn some bad habits or whatever by, if the club's too long for you and you're trying to, do something that you shouldn't normally be doing because it's too long, it can get you into immediate bad habits. So it's a good point that you make there. So you got fitted for clubs immediately and got yourself a set of clubs to start practicing with.
Exactly. Yeah. So I got fitted up for some irons at our friends. Actually, Scott knew some people near where we live here on the Gold Coast, CMT Golf Repairs. Is that right? Golf Traders and Repairs. They're the Mizuno rep actually,
right,
here on the Gold Coast, which I'm very happy about because I just love my clubs. So we got fitted up for irons. I think I got a lob wedge through pitching and then through to 9 So I got, what did I get? I got lob, pitching wedge.
3 to 3 iron.
Yeah, 2 to 3 to 3.
Pretty much like a
3
full
to,
set then.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so how did you get started then? You just went down to the range and as you said, started practicing with your husband on the range, or did you get straight onto a course? How did it all start for you? Or did you get into classes straight away?
No, I didn't have lessons straight away. We've got a friend who plays off scratch, and he's really patient with me, and he started sort of giving me a few tips. And so I started just going along with them when they were playing, and I probably wouldn't play every hole. I'd just sort of chip around the green, and he'd sort of just teach me a few things that way. And then after doing that a few times, I sort of went to the range and had a few hits. And then after that, that's when I got my clubs and then started, playing. And then we picked up, I didn't even have a driver. I think I had a, like this hybrid 3 or something that I had instead of a driver. Yeah. So I started with that, but then I picked up just a cheap driver. I think it cost me like $20 or something like that. But it was great. I loved it. I learned I could hit that quite well, but then a few months ago, I ended up upgrading and getting a better driver with a stiffer shaft, because I could, hit the ball quite hard. And coming from that tennis background, I guess I like to hit the ball hard. And so I upgraded and had a stiffer shaft, and So
I imagine that tennis background then gave you a really good head start with golf, because my teacher is constantly comparing the golf swing to like a forehand in tennis in terms of the movement. So I imagine, did you kind of take to it golf straight away? Did you find that you made a lot of progress really quickly?
Yes, I did actually. I had that hand-eye coordination sort of down pat. It wasn't very consistent. It's still not consistent. But I do have that. So that's a real bonus for me. And then I ended up getting some lessons as well from one of our local coaches here on the Gold Coast. She's Ali Orchard. She's amazing. Really great coach. And I think I had half a dozen lessons with her, and she just, got me hitting it straight. And so I'm really just building on that now. And I'll probably go back for another few lessons, I think. Sometimes I think, I'm just hopeless.
How often are you doing classes then normally? Do you just kind of do it as and when you feel like you need one, or do you try and keep like a consistent schedule?
Yeah, no, I had those 6 lessons towards the end of last year, early this year. And then I haven't been back. So I've just been, just trying to just emulate those lessons now and try to remember, everything. So I'm thinking now maybe it's time to sort of go back and just have a refresh. And and just really just work on my short game. I think that's my driver's like going pretty good at the moment.
Well,
I saw work on that short game. I get down there and then
I'm the same at the moment. I've got a real problem putting, and it can cost you more than anything. Something I played a little par 3 course just last night, and getting on the green in 1 or edge of the green in 1, and then 2, 3 putting, and all of a sudden you're still getting a bogey on a par 3, and it's a really important part of the game. I mean, I saw one of your videos, I think it was, or I don't know whether it was at the class or in your own time practicing, and you were talking about trying to keep your head down during your swing. So is that like a common thing for you right now that you're working on? What are you doing exactly? Are you lifting the head when striking the ball, or?
Yeah, I was doing that a lot in the beginning. That was a big thing for me. And and trying to keep my arms straight and everything. But yeah, my head, I was kind of having that. I suppose it came from tennis, how you sort of, you sort of come up on the ball. I think I was doing that. Yeah, I was jerking. Yeah, I don't know. I was just doing this little jerk thing. Yeah, it was driving me insane. I'm like, God, just watch the ball. Like, how hard can it be? Just look at the ball and don't take your eyes off it. But it's a frustrating game. But I love it.
maybe you've maybe picked up some like kind of positives and negatives then from having that kind of tennis background, because it's a good point. I know the kind of it's difficult to maybe explain it on a video, but I know that movement that you're talking about. I watch quite a bit of tennis, so it's more like an upwards movement, isn't it? Maybe more like a driver, possibly driver shot. When you're hitting a driver, you kind of have that movement of kind of leaning maybe slightly to the right and lifting up on the ball, rather than an iron, maybe where you kind of try to get like a downward compression into the ball. Yeah.
The thing that probably got me in the beginning, that I got told, he said, right now, you've got to hit down on the ball to make it go up. And I'm like, what? I don't understand that. Like, doesn't make sense to me.
Sure.
You just got to hit down on it. I'm like, yeah, that might be easy for you to say, but I don't know what you're talking about. But now I kind of get it, and it's coming a little bit more easier for me. But I've learned to slow my backswing down a bit, and not as much as Morikawa. Is that how you say
Morikawa? Yeah.
Yeah, mind you, he's got the slowest backswing of all time.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If I do that, I'll lose the plot between there and when you get back down to the ball. So that's a bit too long, but it has helped.
Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, like you said there, I think you'd start to have too many kind of swing thoughts if I was going to do a backswing kind of that slow. But it's interesting just because they keep it so controlled, but then at the same time I've heard coaches say that a lot of the power has to start with the backswing, otherwise you can lose some of the eventual overall power. So it's interesting that somebody like him, I mean, maybe if he was doing a full swing, he would get more power, but he's obviously one of the most accurate players out there. So maybe just trying to find that balance between the power and the accuracy. But so for that particular thing then, were you working on that with your coach then, in terms of trying to keep your head down? And if so, what sort of drills were you kind of doing to fix that for yourself?
Drills. Well, I play with my husband pretty much every day. And so he's telling me all the time, keep your head down, lifted your head. And I'm like, I know I did that. But, I have him all the time. Telling me, what I'm doing wrong, and also sort of trying to help me to improve and what I should be doing. But watching the back of the ball, something like that. I have lots of writing on my ball, so I've always got something to look at. And but with golf, with tennis, you just it was such a natural thing for me, but coming to golf, it's so different. There's so many things you have to think about.
Sure.
From when you address the ball, like how you take your backswing, how your arms are, or like there's just so much to think about. And I think, I just try and get one thing right. And then once I've got that right, then I'll work on, the next thing. But it's such a complicated sport, I think, just all in one thing. The things that you've got to think about is crazy.
Well, I was going to ask you as well, did you have any difficulty with the fact that obviously coming from tennis, it's got that big area that you can hit the ball with? I mean, the tennis ball's bigger than a golf ball, but in terms of the racket compared to a golf, I mean, it's not got the golf club, is it? It's the face of the club that you've got to hit the ball with. So did that kind of area that you've got to make good contact, was that kind of a negative for you as well in terms of how you went from tennis to golf? Did you struggle with that at all?
Yeah, I do. I still do. I still... actually my irons I'm pretty good with, and I actually have a hybrid 5 and 6 as well, and a 4, 5, 6 hybrids. Nice. So when they set me up with my clubs, they put me in the hybrids because because I hadn't played before. I think they're a bit easier to hit, although sometimes I struggle with them, but and hitting them on the head with hybrids. And my 3-wood I find the most difficult club to hit. But I think a lot of people are in the same boat.
Yes, so we are. Don't worry. Interesting though. I've been thinking about that myself. Funny enough, is in terms of the hybrids, because I seem to have this mental block with my 5-iron, because I don't know if you used irons before your hybrids or not, or if you've ever tried it, but the 5-iron is just that kind of bit thicker and bit heavier than say the 6, 7, 8, and 9. And for some, I don't know whether it's just a mental thing, but as soon as I get on the tee with that, I always tend to have a bad shot. But then with a hybrid, say I've got a 4 hybrid, and I'm so much more accurate and getting much more length off that. So I'm also kind of debating whether just to get like a kind of 3, 4, 5 set of hybrids as well.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying my hybrids now that I know I've kind of worked out how to use them. Because going from the iron where you've got to come down on the ball, whereas the hybrid, you've kind of got to, skim it along the ground.
Sure.
It's a different swing. So that's what's hard, I think, with the different clubs, that you have to swing them differently. Yeah. And being the 3-wood is longer. I lose it with that sometimes. But when I can hit it, it's a beautiful thing.
Sure.
It's just feels so good. It brings you back.
That's what keeps us playing.
Good. Right, I'll be back tomorrow,
Yeah.
Makes you feel really warm and fuzzy inside.
Exactly.
Hitting them so good. But I've worked it out now, I think, not to take such a big backswing. So I shortened my backswing and on my 3-wood, and that I don't tend to hit it on the head quite as much.
Yeah, because again, tennis, referring back to that, like maybe baseball, it's quite a far backswing, I'd say, if you want to call it a backswing. But when you go back with the racket, you go quite far behind the body. Would I be correct saying that? So it's maybe kind of tempting as well. Like for example, my girlfriend just started playing now, and she's got a baseball background, so her tendency at the moment is to go really far back but to the side of her body, whereas now with golf she needs to kind of go more up and out. So she's having difficulty with that kind of thing. So maybe similar with tennis, because you've kind of got to go really behind your body and then do that forward motion that you mentioned.
Yeah, my problem is that I just want to hit the cover off the ball every time. I want to hit it as hard as I can and as long as I can, because that was me in tennis. I was good. My forehand cross court was one of my best shots.
Best shot. I mean, you kind of answered it a little bit before in terms of why you're now addicted to golf, but besides from the kind of love of sports, then what kind of got you so addicted to it in the first place when you first started playing? What was the thing for you where it's like, oh, I love golf now and I want to keep going back? Was it that first kind of shot you did really well, or was it something else?
I think so. I think it was, and then I think it's just to prove to myself that I can do it. And it's just something that Scott and I can just do together as well forever and a day. Yeah. So I mean, our goal is to actually travel the world and play golf.
Yeah, well, I saw that as well.
We're photographers as well, so we shoot golf as well for the PGA and what have you. So, but because of COVID, it's kind of shut us down.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that because I saw that the pair of you, like you said, are photographers, and I know that you've also mentioned that you like traveling. So
Yeah.
Have you managed to do any of that either together or separate at the moment with COVID then? Because you obviously got into it 2020, like you said. So there's really been no traveling. No, so you've not managed to have you managed to maybe travel around Australia a little bit and play like different courses there, or not even that?
No, not really. We're mainly based in Queensland. But yeah, we were going to go to Sydney for the day and go and play down there, but we ended up getting rained out.
Oh, okay.
So that's a shame. But you know, we're very lucky here on the Gold Coast where I live. We're blessed for golf courses. We have so many. We've got like about 15 golf courses within a 20 to 30 kilometer radius. You know, we've got a lot to choose from. And we've got a lot of PGA, you know, international like golf courses just very close. So we're very spoilt really for golf.
So what sort of things have you both got on your list then in terms of traveling and playing golf? Is there like particular countries, courses at the moment that you've got on your bucket list, if you like?
Yeah, well, we're thinking about next year. There's a trip coming to Fiji. We'd really like to do that, but you know, we'd love to sort of work on the European tour again, and you know, shooting golf, and then hopefully, you know, going around and just playing all the beautiful golf courses around there as well, or heading to Portugal.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. I'd also love to go over to the States as well, and travel, and I'd really like to go to Arizona and those places in the Carolinas and that area there, and to Florida, but mainly because also, I mean, you did mention at the start about fashion. We don't have a lot of that here in Australia. So I'm trying to, I'd love to go to the States and get some really cool golf clothes.
Yeah, not got much of it there.
They have a lot there, and it's a lot cheaper too. So, but there's not a great deal of women's fashion in golf here in Australia because, you know, we don't have a lot of women. Well, there hasn't been a lot of women. And I think, you know, in the past 12 months, a lot of, you know, quite a few have taken it up. But I think it's going to take a lot more for all the golf companies out there to sort of recognize that there's more of a women's market here. But, you know, you go to a golf club anywhere in Australia, and I guess most of the women that are playing there are older. So we do have an older demographic here. I'm probably one of the younger ones at my club. I think the average age is about 65 or something. Oh, wow. So I'm trying to get that younger sort of golf lady to come along. And I was actually just speaking to someone today, and she's wanting to get the same thing, and so hopefully we're going to, you know, start getting a golf, you know, a couple of golf days for women, you know, younger women happening here on the Gold Coast. So that'll be exciting.
Right. I mean, that's really interesting then, because I mean, Australia is obviously quite well known, as is, you know, South Africa, the States, etc., for producing really good golf players. So why do you think Australia are a little bit behind then in terms of maybe the women's game? And obviously it sounds like then there's maybe not young girls or young women kind of coming up the ranks and playing there, whereas in Europe and the US there definitely is. Yeah,
there probably is, but maybe not here on the Gold Coast, because it tends to be a place where a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of areas here where it's retirees and they come up to retire. But I guess there might be more younger ones in, say, in the bigger cities, in Sydney and Melbourne and whatnot. But we just want to try. I mean, I know there's a lot of women here on the Gold Coast, younger, and we just got to get them into golf and get it as an exciting thing to do. Get it as a fun thing to do, and it is fun.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky that, you know, I'm not bogged down by having to do a regular job right now. So I've got the time to play golf. So, you know, I'm really lucky with that.
So what got you into the kind of fashion side then? Was that just something that came hand in hand with the love of the sport itself, or did it come a little bit after you started to play? And what made you kind of enjoy the fashion side of golf as well?
I just love, I mean, when I played tennis, I just loved all the tennis outfits as well. So I guess the motto is, you know, as long as you look good on the golf course, it doesn't matter how you play it, as long as you look good. You can go with anything like skiing or tennis or whatever. But if we don't have, you know, the gear here, we just, it's really hard to try and find something. You know, you've got to order something online and might not be the right size, and I hate ordering things online. So makes it hard.
So what sort of,
there's so many guys stuff here. We're spoilt for choice in the men's department, but the women not so much.
So of the women's kind of brands, then what sort of brands do you like to use yourself, and what's sort of available there to get for women?
Well, I actually really like, we do have a local one here, Red Belly Active. They're a really great brand. I've got a couple of things of theirs. There's another one. She's not so much a golf, and it doesn't have to be particularly a golf skirt or whatever. It's just something, if I like it, then, you know, I'll wear that. There's Cara Lee Collective. She's just a local person. I like Adidas, Nike. Anything that kind of, it's just got to catch my eye, I guess.
I mean, it's pretty cool then. The first couple that you mentioned there, obviously local companies, like you said. I mean, I think that's quite refreshing, and it's a nice change. I mean, I'm somebody that does kind of get caught into as well buying the Nikes and the Adidas and all those popular ones. But for example, like now the brand that sponsors this podcast that I'm wearing, Galvingreen, this is also, it's not, you know, like an Adidas or a Nike, but it's something that was probably started as quite a small company and has now grown into something really big. So I think it's kind of refreshing to, you know, not only promote and buy from these kind of local companies, but you know, that's good that we've got these options with the local ones rather than just going for the big old brands. So that's good.
Yeah, well, I was just I met up with a young girl today. Actually, she's just started her own brand of like golf clothing. It's called Purpose. Actually, I've got one of her polos on right now.
Okay.
And she's going to start bringing some stuff out, some skirts, and I guess the skirt sort of, if you go to a golf shop or whatever, the skirts that they have there are usually for the older demographic. They're quite long. Like for me, I'm not overly tall, but they tend to come down to like my knee, and I just don't think, I don't want to wear that, you know. I suppose being a tennis player, I'm used to a shorter skirt, and you know, that's what I feel comfortable in. So that's, you know, it's more flattering for me, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, the comfort has to obviously be the priority for you, doesn't it? You're not going to wear something that, you know, playing 18 holes of golfing that you're going to be uncomfortable, especially not when you live somewhere as hot as Australia.
Correct. Although it is cold tonight.
Well, right now.
Yeah, it's cold at the moment.
Well, I'm here in the UK, and it's like 26-7 degrees every day at the moment here. So this is like this is our summer at the moment. We're all enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, you've had great weather. I was just watching the
Open.
The Open, of course,
Mhm.
the Open. And you had beautiful weather for that. Like it was just
every
perfect.
day.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Everybody's out at the moment, playing golf literally every day, which is good to see. So,
Yeah. Well,
long
I
may it
follow a
continue.
few people. I follow a few people from the UK, and they're out playing golf after work because the sun doesn't go down till what, like 9?
Yeah, about 8, 9. Yeah, about 9 actually. Yeah, 9.
Yes, that's great. We don't have daylight saving here, or we don't have the long days like you're having right now.
Yeah, we're going to take advantage of it because we've probably got a week left at best, and then that's it. Then that's our summer done.
Oh, really? Oh, God. Well, yeah. But I like listening to Rick Shields as well. Like,
he's awesome.
He's a good. He's got a great way to sort of bring things across.
Interact with the audience and teach, right? Yeah, he's the most popular one here for sure. He's from Bolton, which is actually only about 45 minutes away from where I am. So it's been incredible what he's been able to do. He's been really good. But I just wanted to kind of stay on the fashion side of it, but also come back to your golf a little bit. And for anybody that doesn't follow you yet or isn't aware of you, you're on Instagram, which is wendywoo.golf. So give us a little bit of information about kind of the channel. Did you start it just to track kind of your golf journey? Was it to maybe show off a little bit more the golf fashion side, or what made you kind of start the channel, and what do you want to do with the channel in the future?
Okay. I just thought when I started playing golf, I thought, well, why not track it from the start so that I can really just track my progress. That was the main thing, for me, just to track my own progress and just to have a little bit of fun, along the way, and not make it so serious, and and just have fun basically, and just see, push the boundaries a little bit, see what I can get away with in fashion, that sort of thing. And so we just have fun with it, and I just love playing it, and so I guess when I look back, I can see how far I've come with my swing and everything else. So a lot of women actually contact me and say that they didn't really have a lot of confidence on the course, and they felt that maybe I've helped them with that. So that feels pretty good.
That's amazing.
So I've met a lot of people through Instagram, which is fantastic, and just evolved into everything. So
it's one of the obviously the positive things that we get from social media, and if people are contacting you, as you said, and reaching out and saying that they are now more positive or comfortable to do something thanks to you, it's got to be pretty rewarding.
It is. They're really encouraging me to keep going, and don't worry about what everyone says. I'm getting people like yourself to get in touch and want to talk about it. I've been lucky enough to get a few things given to me to try out, which is fantastic. People like Craftsman Golf, my head covers, which are amazing, and I have one of those book things that what is it? It's a yardage book.
Oh, okay, right.
It's not a yardage book, but it's like it's to write your scores and that down on.
Oh, okay. To track you out, basically.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the name of it.
That's what I'm saying. I've got to look like a professional, even though I'm not.
We're all still learning. Don't worry.
I love it. Oh, I've got alarms going off. Hang on a minute.
No, he's good. That's why. So that's good. And then in terms of the future, then you mentioned it a little bit earlier about possibly getting involved in something to kind of help younger generation of women in your area to play more golf. Is there anything else that you'd like to do via the channel, whether it's with just golf in general, or whether it's with the fashion side of golf? Is there any kind of ideas or anything that you'd like to do in the future with that kind of thing?
Look, I haven't really thought that far ahead. I'm just trying to work on my own game. Actually, yeah, I basically just want to get better myself. And in doing that, you know, just have this journey, and hopefully people will, you know, follow the journey. I'm enjoying, you know, I do have a goal of, because we've got at the moment, there's some amateur competitions happening, but you have to have a handicap of 12 or under to go in it.
Right.
And so I'm at 24.5 at the moment. I did start off, we joined a club in March, and then I got my first handicap, which was 39. And so that from March till now, I've come down to 24.5.
Great progression then.
Yeah, so I've improved quite quickly. So that's been really fun. And so I suppose my goal in the next 12 months is to get down to that 12 so that I can go into these amateur competitions. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think it's what a lot of people will say as well in terms of why they love golf. It's trying to knock that handicap down every single time, and whether it's every month or whatever they track it by, and just slowly get it down and down. I think that's what we're all really chasing, and one of the reasons why everybody loves golf, don't they? Exactly.
I mean the ultimate goal is to sort of get right down there.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
But I think that exactly. I mean, geez, I've only been playing for 12 months. And now I want to be, you know, actually, I haven't even really been playing fully 12 months because I had some injuries and ended up getting pneumonia end of last year. And so I was bedridden for a few weeks, and so I had to sort of build that my fitness back up again. That was a crazy time because, you know, my lungs were sort of collapsed, and I couldn't breathe. Actually, I was on the golf. It was a funny story, I should say. It's not so funny, but this is how crazy into golf I am. We just got new push carts for the golf, and I'm like, oh, I really want to go and, you know, test it out just on my local course down here. And I was starting to feel a little bit, you know, off, but I thought, no, I'll be right. There's a few hills on this course. And so I didn't actually end up finishing because I was that out of breath. And I ring my husband. I'm like, hey, just don't panic, but I think I might take myself to the hospital. He's like, what? So he raced home and took me, and anyway, ended up being pneumonia. And so I was out for probably 6 weeks with that as well. So yeah, it wasn't COVID. No COVID here.
No. I mean, how did you manage to even play? I mean, how many holes did you play then before you realized, or before you felt bad, before you took yourself off?
14.
When did you actually start to feel bad?
Yeah, probably, you know, I wasn't feeling 100% when I started, but, you know, probably about the 6th hole, I was, you know, starting to struggle, and I'm like, oh, I'll be right. And then I just missed a few holes, and I thought, oh, I'll miss those ones, and then I'll come through, and then, back up the hill. And that's what sort of got me that last hill. I was like, oh.
So it's a good story to look back on anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to go to, I read somewhere as well that you were a health coach a little while back. I don't know if you still are or whether you were. Is that something that you've kind of incorporated into your golf at all? Or
yeah, I do that as well. I did that for many years, actually, being a bit of a health coach, but it was mainly using a product. Okay. So I was basically helping people, losing weight and whatever, using a particular product. So that, I still use that to help me with energy and help, protein and all that sort of stuff. So
Right. So because I was just going to ask, maybe like besides the actual practice itself, are you somebody that kind of maybe goes to the gym and works out for golf or anything like that? And if so, what sort of stuff do you normally do?
Yeah. I was going to the gym, and then COVID's, again, sort of put kibosh on that. And then I now work out with a girlfriend. So she has like a bit of a gym set up in her garage. And so most mornings, I haven't recently because it's been so cold, but most mornings we get up and we do a workout, like just a different kind of a workout every single day. Or we might go to some stairs and do some, a stairs workout, run up and down stairs for a bit. Or we might go to the beach and do like a beach workout. We're pretty lucky here, living right near the beach. And we've got a lot here. I mean, we live an outdoors lifestyle. Yeah. Basically. So.
Well, I mean, how many months of sun are you getting there in Australia? You can pretty much play majority of the year, right?
Oh yeah, all year round.
All year round.
All year round. Lucky. Yeah, unless like sometimes when it rains, it'll rain. Like it might rain for a few days, but that hasn't really stopped us either.
No.
As you've probably seen in some of my posts, I don't know.
Yes, I did see one, and it was absolutely chucking it down. Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes. Yeah. So, rain, hail, or shine, where usually you can find us out there. Being crazy.
Good for you.
But just getting back to those things. I don't know.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
And they've even put my name on there.
It's all personalized. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they personalize it. It's pretty cool. So you open it up like this, and you've got your yardage book there, and then you've got your scorecard. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So every time you start a round, like, how does it work? You just replace the one that you had, or is that just specifically for that golf course? Yeah,
that one's just specifically for that one. But Scott was, I don't know, that's just sort of showing you,
Oh yeah, I mean, it's perfect. You've got the whole course layout, yardage, everything.
Exactly.
Awesome.
But so I prefer just to use this. I mean, I know some clubs, they use online, and they do all their scoring online. What do you do? Do you do online or do you hard?
It really depends on the course. I mean, the majority of them here, it's really just an actual scorecard, and it's got yardages, and that's really all we get, actually. And I mean, if you wanted to take it really seriously, there is some, I'd say maybe a higher end golf courses, and they will have something like that where it's got not only the yardage, but it's got the course layout. Each hole, it's got obviously all the hazards, bunkers, etc. marked out. And it also has like the yardages to each of those, to each, if there's like a dog leg on the hole, it will tell you the distance of what you need to get to that part. So it varies here, to be honest, which I find quite strange. I feel like for me, even if I'm playing a normal round, I still want to, be the best I can be, even if I'm playing with friends. So I want to have something like that, because I played at a new golf course with a friend the other day, and I was constantly having to ask his dad, who's a member there, like, so what's the yardage more or less to like this bunker or to that, whereas really I should have all that information at any golf course. It really varies. But then I spent recently 9 months in Mexico, and there, because it's all for tourists, they have everything like that as kind of a standard. They even have like the golf cart buggies that have got like little TV screens on them.
Oh yeah.
And it's got all the information, and you can drive, let's say, where your ball is, and it's counting down the yardage as you're driving, and then when you arrive at your ball, it's giving you the exact yardage, and again, any hazard information, green layouts in terms of how steep they are, and it's got everything. So yeah, in terms of here in England, it's quite a mix. We tend to just have a standard kind of card with the holes and the yardage, but I feel like we should definitely have kind of what you've got there and have all the information possible, because it's so relevant now.
Not everyone has them, but I mean, you can get these like yardage books, and you can map out your own course if you want.
Oh, okay.
And stick that in there. But I use a range finder.
Yeah.
So I find that really easy.
It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. Yeah, I just use that, and but
just want to touch on something you mentioned earlier, because I didn't manage to get onto that, but you mentioned about the photography then, so that you and your husband do that, and you mentioned that you used to do it for the PGA, did you say, and then you also wanted to do it for the European Tour? So just tell us a little bit about that in terms of what you've done and what it is that you do with that.
Yeah, well, we were the official photographers for the PGA here in Australia, actually. Wow. And so we did all the events, the Australian Open, the Masters, like all of the events here in Australia. I've only been involved in the last 7 years doing that with Scott, but since before that, Scott was doing it, on the Asia tour, the European tour,
oh wow,
all that sort of stuff. So yeah, he's a handy one to have follow me around. It's like I've got my personal photographer right there. That's why my photos are so good on my Instagram.
Yeah. Is he kind of showing you photos and going, look, you've not kept your head down here, or is he?
Oh yeah, and videos all the time. I mean, perfect. I mean, you'll see on my page, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly on there. Sure. It's not always the prettiest or the best shot. There was one just the other day, actually, I nearly hit a bird. It was hilarious. So we put that one up, of course. I was driving the ball so well that day, and it was just that one time that he thought, oh, I'll video, it's the last hole, and I stuff it up. So yeah, that was not good.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah, it's the way it goes. But we love doing the golf, and I miss it. I really miss it because, but I think in Australia, I think Scott was talking to someone earlier today that we're looking to get a few more comps happening again here in Australia. Tournaments, I should say. Tournaments, not comps. Like high-end tournaments, like the Open and things like that are going to start happening again. And we're going to get quite a few here in Southeast Queensland because I think in Australia, we have the least amount of COVID in Australia right now. I think because we're always a little bit warmer than everywhere else. So
it's kind of been like that from the start, though, hasn't it?
Yes,
if I remember rightly.
Yeah, we've been very lucky. Yeah,
because I had like a couple of friends from high school that have been living out in Australia for a little while. I mean, it's very common for English people to go over there and live out there for a little while. And I remember when it first started and they were still on the beach and doing whatever, and we were kind of stuck indoors. So it's good that you guys have managed to still be pretty much with, back in normal life, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're extremely lucky, although just as we're speaking, they're going to shut down the border between New South Wales and Queensland overnight. Oh, right. So I don't know what's going to happen. Because there's been quite a few cases that have happened in New South Wales. So, yeah.
Is that coming from maybe like tourists? Are people allowed to come back there now, or
no?
Right. Maybe just a bit of an outbreak.
Truck drivers and just people not, It's difficult. I think
relaxing a little bit more again, possibly. Like maybe.
Yeah.
People start to.
We're going to have
again.
to, live with this. Yeah, they do, and it's not going to go away until, we have more people vaccinated. That's just That's just it. So.
Well, you've still got all your golf courses nearby anyway, so shouldn't
Exactly.
harm you
So,
playing and making progress.
yeah, we can still play golf, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? I mean, you can't go to the gym, you can't, there's a lot of things you can't do that they shut down, but golf, we can do it. So that's the one thing, you know, thank God.
Yeah, keeps us all sane.
Yeah. And so I'm really lucky to have Mizuno on board as well. They've really looked after me, you know, and I mean, I just love the clubs. They're
the ones that you got fitted with from the start, you said, right? And then you've been with them ever since. So I mean, like, what sort of things were they looking at then during the fitting? What sort of like, maybe not tests, but what sort of things are they looking at to be able to fit you with a certain set of clubs?
Okay, so obviously my height. So they get your height and they measure everything, and then they see how you're actually hitting it, how hard you can hit it, the swing speed, I guess. And they do everything. I don't really know what they do, but they set you up in a room and you've got to hit it into the wall on the screen. And they have all these measurements, and you know, back then I really didn't know what all that meant, but luckily they do. And knew what they were talking about, and gave me everything that I needed to get started, and that suited my game, that my swing and how I hit the ball, that's what they go with, and it's down to the shafts and everything. And I think actually we were in there today, and within 6 months I'll probably need new shafts.
Funny enough, I was just about to ask you, I mean, you know, obviously right now they've probably got their latest set out, but say in 2 years, would you just have to go back and ask them to, I mean, have they got kind of everything saved, like all your fitting sizes, etc.? And you just go, look, I want this new set, and they've already got everything ready to go ahead and do that for you. Awesome.
Exactly. Although, you know, when I ordered my irons last year, June last year, I got them in 2 weeks. Now, since then, it's just exploded, you know, and you can't get them any less than, I think, 2 or 3 months, something like that. So it's crazy busy, you know. You can't get your, you know, that you just can't get them. They take a long time to come because they're so busy, people ordering.
Everybody in the same boat, I think. Maybe getting into golf, like you said, during this pandemic, everybody's doing the same thing. But they're quite a big company out there in Australia, aren't they? I believe, as well as obviously Europe and America. I think they're quite a popular company. Yeah, from Japan originally.
Yes. So it's Mizuno are great, and you know, we've gathered a few bags as well, as you can see behind me. Actually, that's 2 of 6 that we have.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, every time I turn my head, Scott's walking in with another bag between his legs. I don't know, it's crazy. I'm like, what are you doing now? We've got enough bags. Like, seriously.
Set up your own shop, local shop.
I think we could start our own shop, honestly. I'm like, yeah, but you need one, you know, this color for this outfit. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, that's maybe like the next step though, isn't it? With the fashion, having the bag and everything, you know, the head covers and everything color coordinated, and then that's maybe the next step for you for your content.
Funny you should say that. I'm actually going to get another bag. But a personalized one, because you can actually get them all personalized now. And I'm going to get this is, if I can just get that off. Anyway, everything's got like Wendy Woo Golf on it now, and I'm going to get like a bag with that on it, and it's and with Mizuno as well. So
I saw you had like a Australia one on your Instagram post. Was that yours or was that somebody else's?
No, that wasn't mine. That was actually from the Mizuno shop as well.
Oh, okay, that was pretty cool.
They just had it there, and I was like, oh, how cool is that? So very exciting for our Aussie golfers.
Yep.
In the Olympics. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you're looking forward to that.
So that's their Olympic bag. Pardon?
I say, you're looking forward to a bit of the Olympic golf then, and do you like the idea of that? Like, you know, say in comparison to all the big tournaments, are you excited about it? Or like, some people aren't sure, are they?
Yeah, I don't know. I prefer the other tournaments, to be honest. But
sure.
You know, it'll still be good. Yeah, it's still golf. So
still golf.
It's still golf. The best players playing, and I know I really enjoy watching them play. Yeah, just, you know, I'm in awe of their swings.
For sure. I mean, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, obviously Australia down the years in the Olympics have always been obviously a very strong country competing wise. So it'd be interesting to now see how they do the golf. Like I said earlier, they've got a lot of good golfers in the men's game. Are they doing a women's game in the Olympics too? I've not actually checked that, or is it just the men's for now?
Yeah, both.
They are doing both, right? Okay, so I mean, I think the men's is probably more dominant in Australia right now, isn't it, than the women's in terms of the quality they've got? But they should be very much competing as they do in all the other sports. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch it.
We have got a few up and coming young girls coming through.
Okay.
So you know, it should be good, and the names have just escaped me.
I mean, are you somebody that watches like a lot of golf as well, or are you more just kind of addicted to playing it, or were you both kind of have it on in the house all the time?
Oh yeah, it's on
in
the morning. Yeah, before we head to the course, it's usually on. You know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because we'll get it in the morning, early morning. It depends where it's being played, of course. If it's in
the time
Europe,
zone.
Yeah, it depends on the time zone. Yeah, and yeah, I don't like to stay up too late.
No, I mean some of the tournaments as well. They're like 4 days in a row, aren't they? So
yeah, exactly.
It can be literally like a half marathon staying up for some of those events.
I used to stay up watching tennis. I used to stay up watching Wimbledon, but I honestly didn't even watch one match. I think I watched one, Ash Barty, the final. That was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
it's difficult sometimes with the time zone, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I'm trying to now get my daughter into golf.
Okay, how old is she?
18.
Oh, okay, cool. So she started playing yet, or are you still working on it?
She comes down to the range every now and then, although I've got a golf set up in our front yard now with a golf net and everything.
Awesome.
And I've got a putting green next to my
too. I've got them both in the house.
Oh my god, what have I turned into? I'm like this golf mad person.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, I enjoy getting out and, you know, just hitting into the net, and just because my husband said it's all about striking the ball. You've got to be able to strike the ball cleanly and consistently. So I've been working on that, and that's helped. So
awesome. Well, listen, Wendy, it's been a pleasure to meet you. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. I appreciate you taking the time out to do this. So just a reminder for everybody that wants to find you, it's wendywoo.golf on Instagram.
Please come and say hi.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time again. Really appreciate you taking the time out.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for having me, Alex. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Thanks for watching, everybody.